What is up, guys? It is AJ from MMA Experts, and this is the UFC 265 full fight card reaction, results, breakdown. We're going to talk about each of the matchups individually. Prediction-wise, we were on fire. 12-1 for the card. Really enjoyed it. Honestly, had a fantastic night. If you tuned into the Fight Companion, I really appreciate that. If you haven't yet, make sure you tune into those. They're a lot of fun, play-by-play for all the fights. But make sure you smash the like button here as we talk about every fight of the night. Need at least 50 likes on this full fight card recap. If you're new to the channel, subscribe here too. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's go to the bottom. First fight of the night. It was Johnny Munoz versus Jamie Simmons. Kind of from the start, you notice hesitancy on both sides, but as it got going, Johnny Munoz was clearly the superior fighter. For being 28, both guys 28, Munoz at another level, especially when it got to the ground. Simmons was actually known as the wrestler coming in, but Munoz was able to take him down, get on top, control, and then lock up the submission win, make Jamie Simmons tap here and earn himself trip up to a little bit higher of a level. Now, we're not going to jump him crazy, but he's somebody to watch at 28 years of age. If you look at his fight against Nate Maness, I mean, he was, disappointed with the loss, but now goes out there and beats Jamie Simmons submission round number 2, rear naked choke. Good win for Johnny Munoz. Next fight, Melissa Gatto and Victoria Leonardo. Okay, first round was apparent that there was a clear as day advantage for Gatto on the ground. Not even competitive. The submission attempts were all over the place. Leonardo couldn't do anything from the top. Even her striking. Even in the first, you saw glimpses. Round 2, she starts picking apart Victoria Leonardo. It was not competitive. Leonardo was levels below her. But Leonardo's a tough girl. Wanted to fight going into that third round, but her arm actually broke. Had a crack in it. You can actually see an obvious dent. It was Melissa Gatto's night. She was on her way to winning. Landed the significant strikes on the feet. Dominated on the ground with jiu-jitsu. Pure performance by Gatto, who we have to watch at 125 pounds. She's a girl to think about now. At just 25, could you imagine her in a year and a half? Future is very bright for Melissa Gatto, and I cannot wait to see. And I also don't think Leonardo should be released by any means. I think they should keep her around, especially for her toughness. She does bring good fights and use her as a stepping stone fighter for some of the lesser girls in the weight class. Next one. It was all Miles Johns, who had a masterclass performance. Miles Johns picked apart Anderson Dos Santos striking, destroyed his leg going into that first round, swelled it up nicely. It wasn't competitive, and then Miles Johns puts him to sleep with a massive overhand. First it was a body shot, then it was followed by the overhand. Unconscious, outwin Dos Santos. Ref jumped right in and stopped it. That was in round 3. It was control throughout for Miles Johns. Not much offensive success for Anderson Dos Santos. I really like Miles Johns as a prospect. 27 years of age. Athleticism is like a 9 out of 10. I mean, this guy's extremely athletic, even at, that 135-pound division where everybody's athletic. Keep an eye on Miles Johns. The future is bright for him, and I'm very excited for future matchups for him. Next fight of the night, we saw Manal Cape versus Ode Osborne. To be honest, I thought Osborne was getting the better of him up until the very end of the first round. The flying knee lands and it drops Ode Osborne. Manal Cape timed it perfectly. Cape is high level. He's fought against very good guys over in Ryzen. He's still super young at just 27. I'm actually really excited to see him make a run at 125 because he could have beat Nicolau, he could have beat Pantoja, and now he beats Ode Osborne here. So resets everything, but the weight. He missed weight. That's a problem. You need to make weight when you're fighting, especially at 125, the lowest of weight classes. You're going to have to jump up to 35 if you can't do it. And his success ceiling at 35 is significantly lower than at 125. So Cape needs to make that weight, and we'll see what he can do moving forward. But I am high on Manel Cape with a big win over Ode Osborne here by knockout. Next fight of the night, Jessica Penne puts a beating on, in my opinion, I think it's officially time to call her the washed Karolina Kowlkiewicz. I like Kowlkiewicz, super sweet girl, but it's time to call what I see. At the end of the day, I wasn't expecting a ton from her coming into this fight, but she had a worse performance than I had expected. She got dominated and submitted in that first round. Jessica Penne, though, what a performance. Gets on top, controls her, shows confidence even striking, and then taps out Karolina Kowlkiewicz here. there's not much else to say besides Jessica Penne still got it, and Kowlkiewicz, I don't think, has it anymore towards the top. Even though she's only lost to the best of the best girls, it was a Jessica Penne win. It was armbar submission, round 1, 4 minutes and 32 seconds. In second fight. What do we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights in. So the sixth fight of the night is Alonzo Manfield and Ed Herman. And let's be honest, it was closer than a lot of us expected. We thought it would be a run over. It would just be Manfield quickly knocking out Herman. I picked second round, but it didn't end that way, though. It was a decision. The leg kicks destroyed the calf of Herman. Super swollen, but he's an OG vet. He's not going to quit. Manfield knew to be cautious because Ed Herman was cracking him with a couple punches in close, and especially in that first round too. But Manfield stuck with the game plan and put on a pretty solid performance to win this fight by a unanimous decision against a legend of the game. I mean, legend is probably an over the top word for Ed Herman, but a tough veteran who's been in the game for a long time and deserves a lot of respect and is a badass motherfucker. I mean, Ed Herman is a bad dude. Alonzo Manfield beats him, clear-cut decision, moves forward at 205. I don't know about the top end of that weight class for him. I think that at 33, it would be like near now or never, and I don't know if he's ready just yet. We'll see what they give him next, but I don't know. Certain matchups, I think Manfield will be in a lot of trouble. If you have a fairly durable guy with a slight height advantage, I think he runs into trouble because I think he had a harder time with Herman than we expected him to have. Next fight, Vince Morales and Draco. Decision went the way of Morales. It was competitive. I could have seen it given to Draco. Even I picked Morales to win, but decision was close. And I really feel like could have potentially gone either way. They do give it to Morales. I do think he was putting the pressure on Draco, whereas Draco was fighting more on the back foot, and that's probably what the judges saw. The third round, Morales had a really good one, and then they give him the decision. He beats young prospect Draco Rodriguez, and Morales keeps it alive here in the UFC, 10-5 record. We'll see what's next for him, but it was a decent win against a tough up-and-coming kid. I was proud of Vince Morales' performance nonetheless here. But let's keep on moving up. We have Rafael Fiziev and Bobby Green, the featured prelim of the night. My goodness, was this fight amazing. They mixed it up in the pocket for the first 2 rounds, and then in the third, Bobby Green had his way, I believe. Lots of disgusting kicks by Fiziev. He was cracking the body of Green. He honestly has some of the best Muay Thai kicks, we've seen in the game, but Bobby Green's durability is off the charts. He fights with his hands super low, but it makes him better, and he's really good from range. He's got really fast reflexes, slips his way out of punches at an extremely high level. Was in a competitive fight versus Fiziev here. He ends up losing a decision, but it was a very good performance. That third round was clearly Bobby Green's, and we cannot write off Bobby just yet. Almost 35 years of age. I think he's got a few solid paydays remaining in the bank, and I want to see him get more exciting fights, and we got to keep him active because he's a guy that I think is great for the fans. Fiziev gets a win here, moves forward. So this is going to be tricky, right? Because what do you do with Fiziev moving forward? I got to pull up Ranking MMA for this one. Like, this is one fight where I actually want to potentially discuss a future matchup. So let's see the UFC rankings for each weight class, lightweight division, because they do it deep. It's not the official, but it's deep ranking. So Fiziev was here sitting at 21, beat Bobby Green, who they had at 27, though I disagree with these rankings. For Fiziev beating the number 21 guy in the world, moves forward with a win, could potentially fight the winner of Dawson Fajeda, but I think they hold off on that one. Is anybody opposed to Damir Ismagulov versus Fiziev? I'd be intrigued by that fight. Or also Brad Riddell versus Fiziev. I like that one if they want to give him a ranked fighter. There's a lot of exciting matchups that are on the horizon for Fiziev, and towards the back end of the top 15 is, I think, where he's headed right now. I think potentially the Riddell fight, but it's going to be a fight between two guys that are 10-1, and it's going to kill one of them off as a hot prospect, but that's how the fight game goes. There's a lot of young blood on the way up in this weight class, and I'm very excited to see the future of 155 pounds. And Fiziev, is he ready for that top 15 yet? We're going to find out. He put on a good performance against Bobby Green, but the gas tank needs improvement. For Green, he'll get another fun fight. There's a lot more left in him. Now, main card time. If you haven't yet, smash that like button. As I said, I need at least 50 likes on this full fight card recap. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Song Yadong, Casey, Kenny, competitive action with Kenny pushing a lot of the pace. Yadong counter-striking, moving backwards more so. I thought that Yadong won the fight. I had it on my scorecard. I had him up. I thought that he put on a pretty good performance, mixed it up with the hands nicely, especially in the third round, defended takedowns well. It was a really good performance for Song Yadong against Casey Kenny, who is legit as they come at 135. Now, Yadong's future is absolutely bright at 135 pounds. We got to pull up the rankings. UFC rankings. Let's see. All right, at 135. What do we look at? I'm looking at heavyweight. I'm already thinking ahead to the higher weight class fights. 135. Neither of these guys were ranked, but they're very close to that top 15. Stamen, Rivera, Sunsao. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to give Yadong. He's close, but we might have to keep him out of the top 15 a bit longer. Dude, bantamweight is just that stacked. Like, these guys are all fantastic in that bantamweight division. There's so many savages throughout the weight class. Let's see where Song was at. 18, and he just beat Kenny, who they had at 19. I don't think they give him Sean O'Malley, though I'd like to see it. Ricky Simone, I'd be interested in that fight, but I don't know if they book it. If they want to jump him up in competition, Jimmy Rivera could be a potential fight, but I don't know if they do that. Maybe. I'd be open to seeing it for sure. If they want to maybe, take it back a step, you could potentially give him like Timu Valiev and give Valiev a big opportunity. I don't know what direction they'll go exactly, but if I was leading the way, I'd more want to see him fight towards the top. Maybe it's bad, though, to rush a 23-year-old. I think we can pump the brakes on him. Maybe give him somebody behind. Maybe not even Valiev. Maybe Paiva. Even though Paiva beat Phillips, it was arguably the other way. I don't know. Some potential matchups for sure. I'm not going to give, I guess, an exact guy because who knows what direction they're going to go with Song Yadong moving forward here. Kenny, same type of thing, but Yadong's so young, 23 years of age. The future is very bright for him. Tisha Torres, Angela Hill. Angela Hill Tisha Torres outstrikes Angela Hill. Once again, puts on a dominant display. Clear-cut decision victory. Showed a striking improvement and striking edge over Angela Hill. She just did not have the speed to deal with Tisha. The flurries of punches are at another level. Even though Hill maybe landed a couple takedowns and her grappling showed massive improvement since her first fight with Tisha, just a nightmare matchup. She can't beat Tisha Torres, unfortunately, for herself. It's just a really hard matchup, and Tisha got the better of her here. Defeats Angela, overkill Hill, and gets herself a great performance to keep things moving in this weight class. We'll bring up the UFC official rankings for this one. Women's strawweight division. Tisha was 10. Angela Hill was 12. I think you can move Tisha maybe up to some of these top end of the weight class girls. Claudia Gadelha maybe. Do they go out there and give her Mackenzie Dern? I don't know. I believe Dern is booked. We'll see, I guess, what they do exactly. We'll pull up this one here. That's the good thing about this ranking MMA is it tells you the next fight for these fighters, man. UFC.com got to update that website. Come on, fellas. Wow, they're way out of whack. These rankings are in a whole nother direction. Tisha's ranked 7 here. Mackenzie Dern, Marina Rodriguez winner, I could see being given to her. Or give her Yan Echnan. I'd be interested in that fight. Claudia Gadelha is another option. Lots of fights for Tisha Torres on the horizon. For Angela Hill, bit of a step back. I don't think you want to give her somebody too deadly here, but maybe like loser of Hibas, Verna Genderoba, potentially could do somebody outside of the top. But Angela Hill is high level. But I feel like her wins more come against girls outside of that top 15. We'll see what they do next for her, but I think Hill is going to stick around towards that top 15. And Tisha Torres, though, making a run towards that top 5. She looked good out there. Vicente Luque, Michael Chiesa, what a crazy grappling exchange between these two. I mean, it looked like it was going the way of Chiesa. He got the better of Luque striking, landed clean punches on the feet, maybe even stunned Vicente with 1-2 down the line. Gets good control on the ground, nearly has that submission. Like even Luque said after the fight, that submission was 80% in. Chiesa finds a way to end up getting himself choked out. Deep Darce choke. My goodness, the technique by Vicente Luque. He gets a submission win. This was the only wrong prediction of the whole night. But man, Vicente Luque impressed me a lot, but I still don't see him having a competitive fight with Kamaru. I think Kamaru's a levels above. And I know they've trained together in the past. We'll see what they do moving forward, but I think Vicente Luque could potentially be the next challenger for that title now that he just beat Chiesa. Colby Covington, Usman, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how much time off they need. Maybe they do Luque, but Leon Edwards is still definitely in the mix there. It could be Edwards versus Masvidal, and then who knows, maybe if Edwards wins that, maybe they do Luque versus Edwards. I don't know. I think Vicente's very close, though, to title shot, and I wouldn't be opposed to giving him Usman. Chiesa needs a step back now. I don't think you're going to give him someone too far down the list because, I mean, he's still high-end at welterweight. I don't know if this is crazy to give him Wonder Boy. Probably not a good idea. He beat Neil Magny. Could be Bilal Muhammad for him next. I think that could be a potential matchup. Even Wonder Boy, who knows? They might end up somehow Chiesa gets a fight with Wonder Boy. I don't know. It is possible. And styles do make fights. I don't know how he do there. We'll see. I mean, he already has a win over Neil Magny right there. It's a hard matchup for Neil. Very interesting position to be in if you're Michael Chiesa because you really just fall right outside of the top 5. And I think that he could give a lot of guys trouble with his grappling. Unfortunately, loses here to Vicente Luque in our featured bout of the night. But let's get to the co-main event. Jose Aldo Jr. This was against Pedro Munoz, and it was a masterclass. Jose Aldo has his boxing game like tenfold improvement, especially in that third round. The combinations he was letting go on Pedro's head, ripping to the body, head, jab, cross, hook, destroying the face of Munoz. There was no competitiveness in the striking, especially in the third. In the first two, there was competitive moments, but I feel Aldo was controlling, landing very good punches with the boxing, but Munoz would have a moment here and there. But definitely you could tell, like, Munoz is fighting Aldo, who is the guy, right? In Brazil, this guy is a superstar. So I don't think Munoz was really all that disappointed with the defeat. It's like almost like you idolize this man. It's even hard to beat him. But Aldo picked him apart. Munoz was staring at the lights like didn't know really what to do here against Jose, especially in that third round. Aldo looked like Superman. The best Jose Aldo we have seen, especially at 135. I cannot wait for what is next for Jose Aldo. And we are going to talk about what is next for Jose Aldo after a big win like this. At 135, Aldo was ranked 5. He beat the unfairly number 9 guy because realistically he should have been higher up. Garbrandt's dropping a weight. Moraes is booked. We're not doing a 4th fight with Edgar. So we have a couple of options. If you want to send them in the back end, you do Dominic Cruz Aldo for more of a super fight type of thing. Or you do Jose Aldo, Rob Font. Those are the two options. If he does the Rob Font fight, that's a number 1 contender matchup. If you do the Cruz fight, it could be, but it's also a super fight, a legacy fight. It's legendary Jose Aldo fighting Dominic Cruz, who was a champion alongside of him in the WEC. Like, there's so many great storylines to this. I would be interested in the fight, but it would be very difficult for Dominic. I do think he would struggle. I think that Jose Aldo and Rob Font is the way to go. I think that's probably the matchup. That's a tricky fight on both sides. Aldo looked amazing, but in a 5-round fight, let's see how the gas tank looks. That's the main thing that'll concern me. I know Sandhagen is still somewhere towards the top. Aldo maybe fights Sandhagen. Who knows if they end up going that direction. But very close to the top of the weight class. Dillashaw's also in there, but I don't think they're doing Aldo and Dillashaw. I think Dillashaw's getting that next title shot after the Jan versus Aljo fight. But keep an eye on Jose Aldo. He's still towards the top for Munoz. Disappointing loss. Maybe potential fight really could be Dominic Cruz if it's not Cruz taking on Jose Aldo. Could be the loser of Merab and Marlon Moraes, but I don't know if Merab wins that fight if Marlon's looking to take another tough fight against a hard striker like Munoz. Who has Munoz fought recently? Just to be exact, let's see. He lost that fight. Maybe he fights Rafael Assunção. He has a loss to him in the past. Or a trilogy fight with Jimmy Rivera. There's options on the horizon for sure with Pedro Munoz. But Aldo, he climbs forward nicely. Now, main event. Let's talk about this. Master class at its finest by Cyril Gane. His performance striking, the way Gane is able to control range, there's nobody like it. He's able to chop down with lead leg side kicks and the stomp at the knee. He's throwing low kicks. He's throwing body kicks. He's throwing teeps. Derek Lewis can't find a way inside. And when Lewis does come at him, Ciryl Gane evades. And evades at an extremely high level. There's nothing. Derek Lewis didn't really land any punches. What did he land? 8 strikes in the whole fight? And it wasn't significant at all. It was maybe a shot to the body, a glancing shot to the head. He was picked apart. The first round, it was clearly gone. Second round, clearly gone. And he's starting to get Lewis tired. And then in the third round is where Gane really starts to take over. He starts putting the pace on Derek Lewis, clinching up a bit, showing he's the stronger man in the clinch. Knees to the body from the clinch. Beautiful combination, striking. He hurts Derek Lewis's eye. Derek Lewis is then getting pressured. He's turning around. He's covering up. He's doing what Derek Lewis does, which is just weird stuff when he's stunned. And then Lewis gets caught by a big shot, goes to the ground. He's not getting back up. I think we all knew that fight was over at that point. Big Dan Mergliano wanted to give as many chances as he could to Derek Lewis, but unfortunately the referee has to stop the fight, and Ciryl Gane gets himself the interim belt, and now he fights against Francis Ngannou. The storyline is fantastic. Former training partners. Look at the footage. It looked like Gane technically gets the better of Francis Ngannou. That's a fight that I need to see. I'm salivating at the mouth thinking of that fight. I cannot wait for that fight. Bright future ahead for Ciryl. I think he might be the greatest heavyweight talent we have ever seen, at least striking-wise. I think this guy's special. Keep an eye on Ciryl Gane, and I think that him and Francis is a very interesting fight. The hardest hitter, the freak of freaks, versus the technician at the highest of levels in mixed martial arts, especially heavyweight division, Ciryl Gane. For Derek Lewis, disappointing loss. It's another L for him. What does he do from here? I expect time off, but I don't expect him to throw it away and call it a career just yet. You look at this weight class. He has a win over Curtis Blades, win over Volkov. Does he fight Jairzinho Rozenstruik next? Maybe if Rozenstruik and Blades, depending how that goes down, I don't know. Maybe he waits on the sidelines. Is Stipe Miocic not a bad fight? I'd be intrigued by that one. Derek Lewis, Stipe, Derek Lewis, they won't do him and John Jones. That could be interesting. Maybe he fights Volkov a second time, assuming Volkov is able to win against Marcin Tybura. That's an option. Rematch between those two. Tom Aspinall's on the rise. That's a potential fight down the line. Chris Dawkins down the line, potentially. Lots of intriguing fights for Derek left and lots of big money-making opportunities. He's a fan favorite and a star in this heavyweight division. But Ciryl Gane is the future of this heavyweight division. Excellent performance. I am super impressed by him. I can't wait to see him fight against, besides just Francis, John Jones potentially in the future. That's a fight that gets me super excited. There's so much going on in the sport. I mean, MMA is just amazing, and this card was a great one. Okay, so if you're looking at performances of the night, even though the flying knee was great, Cap cannot get a performance of the night. I'm going Johns for the KO of the night. For the fellow performance of the night, you go fight of the night, Fiziev Green, I believe. That's fight of the night. And then a fellow performance of the night has to be Luque. Luque, Johns, and then Fiziev Green for fight of the night. Gane at the top definitely deserves a little bonus of something. Overall, turned out to be a really great card. I had an amazing time watching it, doing the play-by-play for it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed this post-fight coverage. Cannot wait. Lots of exciting action. I got Bellator predictions dropping on Sunday night. Got PFL predictions dropping Monday night. Tons of coverage here at MMA Experts, so keep it locked in here. Subscribe if you guys are new. Smash that like button. As I said, I need at least 50 likes on this video. I'd like to get more. I'd like to get 100 likes. See what you guys can do for me. Thank you all so much. It is much appreciated, and I will see everybody in the next one. Have a great day, guys.